Hi everyone, welcome to Impact Academy. Today let us see the highlights and key features of the budget 2024-2025. So as we are all aware, there is the interim budget of the union budget. So we have recently seen key features of the state budget, the interim budget of the Andhra Pradesh state government. So today let us see the key features of the union budget. Now this is not a complete budget as there are elections due. So this is a interim budget, and once the elections are over and the new government takes over, then there will be a full budget. So, but for the exam point of view, since we have Group 2 preliminary very near, so you can expect one or two questions from this also, from current affairs point of view. But if you go to Group 2 mains, in mains, since we have 75 questions, obviously they are going to ask a couple of questions from the budget also, and budget is a very important document for competitive examinations. Anyway, since this is the interim budget and only for prelims, let us go through quickly. Let us see only the key points. And we have a what is a proper document from the government itself, so no need to worry. So let us see what are the important points and what all we can get from this. So it is talking about Vikshit Bharat by 2047. So from the exam point of view, you have to remember these things. See, last time budget they had the Saptarishi model, right? So the seven pillars of development, etc. So those things, those jargons and all, you should remember. So similarly, this time, what the budget says is Vikshit Bharat by 2047. So by 2047, you're expecting, the government is expecting India to become a developed country. And what they're going to do for that, okay, development mantra, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, okay, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Trinity of demography, democracy, and diversity, backed by Sabka Prayas. Anyway, in this, the main thing you have to remember is that the country is going to become a developed country by 2047. So from that page, only that is important. Remember that. And Vikshit Bharat. Remember the jargons also. So this you can go through. Nothing. Nothing to explain much. You can say substantive development in infrastructure, physical, digital, social. Okay, digital public infrastructure, etc. Deepening and widening of tax base via GST. So GST is a very important reform of the central government. So let us quickly look at what is GST. Okay, it's a destination-based value-added tax levied on goods and services sold for domestic consumption. Okay, it's a destination-based tax. It was first introduced in 2014 as 122nd Constituent Assembly Bill. I'm sorry, Amendment Bill. So remember all these things. And it was enacted as a 101st Amendment Act in 2016. So it was introduced in 2014. Remember this 122, and it is the 101st Amendment to the Constitution 2016. So sometimes such a question can also be asked, especially for Group 2. And it became applicable across India from 2017. So try to remember all those things. And this is important. See, it's a destination based tax. It's a value added tax. It removes cascading effect. Okay. And dual GST, central, state, and also there is an integrated GST. Okay, for interstate trade, commerce, etc. etc. So GSTN is the supporting network. Okay, goods and services tax network, and GST rates are notified by the GST Council. And these are the rates: 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28%. So GST Council, Article 279A deals with the GST Council. Okay, try to remember that also. And there are 33 members, two from the federal government, 31 from states, and the union territories. And who is the chairman? Union Finance Minister. That is very important. And the members are ministers nominated by the state governments, who are usually finance ministers. And central will have one-third voting power, and the states will have two-third voting power. All these are important points, and decisions are taken by three-fourth majority. So advantages: creates a unified common market, etc. And the challenges are manufacturing states will lose revenue. Okay, reduction in fiscal autonomy of states, etc., etc. All these things you can just go to. And many goods are exempt, like fruits and vegetables, cereals, meat, fish, even petrol, electricity, natural gas. Okay. So there are demands to bring electricity and etc. I mean petrol under GST also, but right now they are not there. Try to remember that. So that is a brief about GST. And this gift IFSC, I'm sure most of you are aware, it is a financial sector related gift city in Gujarat. Okay, it's very important. I mean, they wanted to be international, what is a financial institution. Okay, it's more like a hub of financial. Let us look at what the official is in Gujarat. Okay, gift city in Gujarat. What they are saying, let us look at. It's a preeminent futuristic city built on the foundation of sustainability, etc., etc. It's and it provides for okay. It is in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. First operational greenfield smart city and international financial services center. Okay, it is in Gujarat. Remember, it's the international financial center, GIFT city. So it's a robust gateway for global capital and financial services for the economy. So all this is fine, and proactive inflation management, all parts of company. Okay, all that is fine, and you can see the trends in the GDP rates. Okay, so there has been a decline in the last 2 3 years, and there has been a what you say again. There is a ascendancy. Okay, try to remember the trends. Okay, this is around the COVID time, right? 2020, 21. So during the COVID period, there was a dip, and then again there was a rise, and now you can see that there is a decline again, and it is expected to continue at what is this? You can say between 5 to 10%. Currently, it is 7.3%. Okay, try to remember that. More than the figures itself, try to remember the trends. So we are talking about Garib Kalyan, Desh Ka Kalyan, so poverty elimination. The direct benefit transfer has led to savings of 2.7 lakh crore. So, especially when you are preparing for Group 2, because there is a chance of asking more of one-liner questions, you have to remember all these things. This itself is a very concise thing. So, whatever is given in this, try to remember. So, DBT has led to 2.7 lakh crore savings, and 25 crore people have moved out of multi-dimensional poverty. Multi-dimensional poverty means poverty in economic sense poverty, education sense poverty, health malnourishment, etc. So several dimensions will be there. So multi-dimensional poverty index is very important, and 25 crore people have moved out. So it's a good thing, and you can see the percentage also it has reduced. So remember this trend. There is a huge decrease in multidimensional poverty. From 55%, it has come down to 11%. So try to remember that. Okay. From 55%, it has come down to 11.3%. So 25 crore people have moved up. And credit assistance to 78 lakh street vendors under PM Swanidhi. So for poverty elimination, PM Swanidhi is an important scheme, and 78 lakh street vendors have been given credit assistance under Swanidhi. Remember all these things. When it comes to youth empowerment, we can say 1.4 crore youth trained under Skill India Mission. Fine, Skill India Mission is one of the what you say one of the flagship scheme of the government. Okay, to provide skill development for youth, and 43 crore loans have been sanctioned under PM Mudra Yojana. So Mudra Yojana, if you look at PM Mudra Yojana, it comes under three categories. Okay, one thing is Sishu. Sishu means covering loans up to 50,000. Next, Kishore. Kishore is loans from 50,000 up to 5 lakh. And Tarun is from 5 lakh to 10 lakhs. So 10 lakhs is the maximum amount you will get in PM Mudra Yojana. Okay, remember these things. Sishu, Kishore and Tarun. Up to 50,000, 50,000 to 5 lakhs, and above 5 lakhs to up to 10 lakhs. So 43 crore loans have been sanctioned under PM Mudra Yojana. And if you look at this, increase in PM Shri budget allocation. Now, what is PM Shri? PM Shri is a scheme, centrally sponsored scheme. Okay, not central sector scheme, central sponsored. So, central sector scheme means 100% of the funding will be provided by the central government. Centrally sponsored scheme means mostly government of India will provide a certain share, mostly 90% or 70%, 60, etc. The remaining 10% or 30%, 40% will be borne by the state government. So PM Shri, there is a target of 14,500 PM Shri schools. Okay, similar to the Kendra Vidyalayas and the Navodaya Vidyalaya. So basically, they are trying to provide a system, okay, school, what you say, a schooling system, so that every student can join and get quality education. So remember that also 14,500 schools is the target, and there is an increase in the budget. Okay, from 4,000 crores now it has become 6,000 crores. Okay, 6,050. So roughly you can remember. Okay, and also a number of IITs has increased to 23, and AIMS have increased to 22, and in general the number of universities have increased from 723 to 1,113. So briefly you can remember, since this PDF itself is a very brief one provided by the government, so obviously everything in it is very important. Try to remember that. So farmer welfare, obviously PM Kisan, everyone is aware. Okay, 6,000 rupees in three, what you say, three installments, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, provided as direct benefit, direct financial assistance to the farmers. Okay, 11.8 crore farmers have benefited. Try to remember that. And PM Fasal Bima Yojana is the standard crop insurance scheme of the central government, and they have provided to 4 crore farmers. Also, 1,361 mandis under ENAM, National Agricultural Market, supporting trading volume of 3 lakh crore. Okay, try to remember that. And in this, in these graphs, observe this, like what is the rice production, what is the wheat production, approximately, like 38 lakh metric ton. So just in case anyone asks you how much, what is it, how much procurement of rice and wheat is happening in the government PDS system, etc. So you should have a rough idea. Okay, 38 lakh metric tons of rice has been procured, and 262 lakh metric tons of wheat has been procured. Okay, 2023-24. It's an estimate, but remember the figures approximately. Okay, rice 38 lakh metric ton, wheat 262 lakh metric ton. So also observe the trend. The increase in production procurement of rice has increased, and there has been a decrease and a slight increase in the procurement of wheat. So compared to 2001 to 2022. So a question can be asked in any way. Try to remember that in the last few years, what is the trend means? Obviously, wheat has decreased significantly. It has more than become half procurement of wheat, and procurement of rice has definitely increased. So try to remember the trends also, not just the figures. If you can remember as many figures as you can remember, that would be beneficial for you. But try to remember the trends. So Nari Shakti, women empowerment, and this is very important. Okay, female labor force participation rate. So you can see the percentage of female workers in the formal economy. Female labor force participation rate has increased by from 23.3 to 37%. So the number of women getting into formal jobs is increasing. That is a good sign. And sometime back we've seen, right, 43 Mudra Yojana loans, 43 crore. Out of that, 30 crore has been given to women, and increased female enrollment in higher education. Okay, that means in professional courses, degrees, engineering, and post graduation, etc., increased by 28%, and 43% of female enrollment in STEM courses. So, STEM courses is basically science and technology, engineering, and mathematics. So, basically, some professional courses. So, even in professional courses, there has been an increase in 43%. And also 1 crore women assisted by 83 lakh SHGs to become Lakpati Didis. Okay, remember this also. 1 crore women have been assisted by so many SHGs, and they will become the Lakpati Didis. So, in this, you have to remember this statement very well, because even from SNT point of view, science and technology, this is very important. Okay. So by 2047, we are expecting to become a developed nation, and by 2070, we have given a commitment that we will become net zero. That is in terms of carbon emissions. So we have all these various international what is the protocols, Protocol, Kyoto Protocol, etc. Right? Paris Agreement, UNFCC, all these things. We are expecting to limit the global temperature rise by 1.5 degrees. All those things, everybody is aware, right? So one of the important commitment is also to become net zero by 2070. So by then, by 2070, we are expecting to establish solar parks or wind energy, recycling, etc., electric vehicles, all the stuff, and we are going to literally stop giving carbon emissions. So wind energy, they are providing viability gap. And when you say wind energy, the prominent players are Tamil Nadu and Villingam in Kerala, etc., etc. So a lot of wind energy plants have come up in Tamil Nadu, etc. Try to remember that. Setting up of coal gasification and liquefaction capacity. Okay. Phased mandatory blending. So this mandatory blending of CNG, PNG, etc. You have to remember this. Okay, very important. India has already rolled out 20% blended fuel. Okay, and more important, we have a target of 20% ethanol blending of petrol by 2024-25. So this can be asked as a question. So by 24-25, there has to be 20% ethanol blending in the petrol. The petrol which we we go to the petrol bunk every day, right? So there needs to be 20% ethanol blending so as to reduce the carbon footprint, and 30% by 2029-2030. Basically, by 2025, 20%, and by 2030, 30%. This is very important. And this we are talking about uh, petrol. Now, if you look at diesel, okay, diesel, the target is 5% biodiesel by 2030. Okay, 20% ethanol in petrol by 25 and 30% ethanol in petrol by 2030. And when it comes to diesel, 5% biodiesel, okay, in diesel by 2030. So by 2030, you have to blend, you have to mix biodiesel in the diesel by around 5%. So that will reduce the dependency on what you say imports, okay, because India has a huge import bill in terms of petrol, diesel, etc. Financial assistance for procurement of biomass, aggregation machinery, okay, rooftop solarization. India is a pioneer in what is solar energy also because we are a tropic country. We have this International Solar Alliance. Okay, India is what you say the initiator of that. All those things are very important. One sun, one earth, one grid. The International Solar Grid, etc. All those are very very important. Okay, adoption of e-buses for public transport, strengthening e-vehicle ecosystem. So all these things are there. And biomanufacturing and biofoundry to be launched to support environmental friendly alternatives. So all those are generalized statements, nothing much to remember there. So you can see percentage of non-fossil fuel installed electricity capacity. So it has increased from 32 to 43. Okay, around 10% it has increased in non-fossil fuel. That means renewable energy, solar, okay, wind, etc., etc., biomass, all those things. Renewable energy has increased by 10%. Try to remember that. And now it is around 43.9. And this is PMUY, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, and they have provided more than 10 crore LPG connections to the below poverty line people, the poor people. And Ujjwala Yojana means LPG connections, and PM Ujala. Ujala means LED bulbs. Okay, no need to remember the figure or anything, but just remember that Ujjwala more than 10 crore LPG connections, and Ujala is LED bulbs, and 1.3 crore LED street lights installed under SNLP. Fine. So strategy for Amrit Kal, implementation of three major railway corridor programs under PM Gati Shakti. So PM Gati Shakti is again very important. It is more like a platform or a website or a digital solution to bring together uh, various departments, various ministries on the same platform. So whatever is happening in Ministry of Road Affairs, someone who is Ministry of Road Transport might not be aware. So in order to bring them together, so they are laying roads, and the rural ministry also needs to know what exactly is happening. What is the next project? Where is it going to be? Is it going to be there in their particular area? So in order to bring all the departments onto one platform, PM Gati Shakti has been initiated, okay, to improve logistics efficiency and reduce cost. So it's a platform for what is multiple ministries and departments. Okay, three major railway corridor programs. are being implemented under Gati Shakti. So let us quickly see what are those three main three railway corridors. Three major economic railway corridor programs will be implemented. They are energy, mineral, and cement corridors, port connectivity corridors, and high traffic density corridors. Fine. Remember, one thing is energy, mineral, and cement, and other is port connectivity, and other is high traffic density corridors. Fine. That is one thing. Promotion of foreign investment via bilateral investment treaties to be negotiated. Expansion of existing airports. So, UDAN scheme is airports. Okay. उड़े देश का आम नागरिक, right? So UDAN scheme is airports. We have already reached around 150 airports or so. So that's also one successful scheme. And promotion of urban transformation via metro rail, all that is fine. Now look at these graphs. There's a lot of information here which is very important for us. So capital expenditure is very important for a growth of a country to invest in actual capital. That means construction of buildings, construction of roads or industries, etc. So actual infrastructure. So that is very important, and we can see in the previous budget also around 10 lakh crores has been given for capital expenditure. So even here, if you look at fiscal year budget estimate, it is around 10, right? 10, and now it is almost reaching 11. So remember that, okay? Remember that trend also. Starting in the past, what you say, decade, it has gone from around 5 to 10%. So it has doubled. So remember that the amount of capital expenditure has more than doubled in the last decade. So such statements will be asked. So you have to identify that. Yes, that is a true statement. It has more than doubled in the last decade. And as a percentage also, it has gone from around 5% to now it has gone to around 10%. So even that has doubled. Okay, obviously, right? So remember the statement. And remember approximately it is between 10 to 11 lakh crores capital expenditure and the percentage increase is around 10%. Now, this is not percentage increase, this is capex as a percentage of GDP. So around 10% to 11% of the GDP is being spent on capital expenditure. Now regarding doubling of FDI inflow. In this, obviously you have to remember that it has doubled, and more than that, you have to remember what is the FDI inflow approximately. So around 600 you can say, okay, 596 or 600. So we have around $600 billion of FDI inflows. Try to remember that. And it has doubled over the last decade or so. It has doubled FDI inflow near to 600. So I told you the number of airports almost 150, 149. This is in 22. So by now it would have crossed 150. And everything you can see there is a huge increase in national highways. Okay, every now and then we see Ministry of what is road transport, Nitin Gadkari ji. He mentions how much road, how many kilometers of road has been laid, etc. So there is a huge improvement in airports, okay, and in highways, and also electrification of the rail routes. There is also increase in the cargo traffic at major ports, okay, and increase in the airport. So remember the trends, okay. There has been a marked increase in number of airports also. It has more than doubled, right? It has more than doubled in the last around in the last decade. So remember these trends. Try to remember the trends and remember FDI inflow 600 billion. Okay, capex 10 to 11 lakh crore, and percentage also 10 to 11%. Number of airports 150. Okay, so try to remember all those things. So aspirational and the strategy for Amrit Kal. Okay, inclusive development, aspirational district program to assist states in faster development. Okay, this is also frequently in news, right? Aspirational district programs, some rankings, awards, etc. are given. So inclusive development in aspirational districts. Percentage of women registered for antenatal care within first trimester, it has increased. Okay, remember that. And this is number of enrollments under Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima. So there are two things, right? Jeevan Jyoti Bima and Jeevan Suraksha Bima, something. So Jeevan Jyoti is life insurance. Suraksha Bima. Suraksha Bima is the accident insurance cover. Accident. Okay. So Jeevan Jyoti is life insurance cover, and you can see there has been a tremendous increase from 1,000 to 13,000. So huge increase in life insurance. So try to remember these trends also. So cervical cancer vaccination for girls 9 to 14, Saksham Anganwadi and portion 2 to be expedited. Okay, early childhood care. UWIN platform for immunization. This is also important. And Mission Indradhanush. Mission Indradhanush also comes in the banking sector also. For banking reforms also there is one thing called Indradhanush, but generally when you say Mission Indradhanush, it is about immunization. And what are the diseases? Measles, rubella, all those things, polio virus, all those vaccines come under Mission Indradhanush. The objective is to provide vaccination to all kids for a set of 7 or 9 diseases. Just go through. And UWIN platform. Remember that for Mission Indradhanush. Okay, ASHA workers, Anganwadi workers, helpers, etc. Fine. So remember this. This is something new. Cervical cancer vaccination for girls between 9 to 14. Here also, you can see there has been a slight increase in allocation of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, achieved the target of 3 crore, etc. etc. So, whatever you can remember. Generally, remember the trend. There has been increase in allocation. Okay, tourism, you have several schemes like Prashad scheme, etc., etc., right? And iconic development of heritage structures, etc. States will be encouraged to undertake development of iconic tourist centers, attract business. Okay, so even we've seen recently in Andhra Pradesh, the chief minister has opened 26 tourist police stations, right? 26 places, tourist police stations. So all that is for tourism, development of tourism. Long-term interest-free loans to be provided to states. Also, in last year budget, we have seen like 50-year interest-free loans have been provided to the. This is the same thing. I think long-term interest-free loans to be provided to states to encourage development for 50 years. Projects for port connectivity, you can say Sagarmala. Okay, the scheme of Sagarmala, tourism infrastructure, etc., etc. So Lakshadweep also there has been increased focus on Lakshadweep recently. The capital of Lakshadweep is Kavaratti, okay, and Lakshadweep should come into your mind when it is percentage of forest area, which union territory has the highest, or which among the union territory and states which has the highest forest cover, it is Lakshadweep, okay. If you remove union territories, it is Mizoram. If you remove what is the percent, if it is not percentage and if you consider actual area, then it is Madhya Pradesh. Try to remember all that. Madhya Pradesh has the highest forest cover in terms of area. So, agriculture and food processing. Government will promote private and public investment in post-harvest activities. Okay, Nano DAP, diammonium phosphate, right? It's a standard fertilizer. All that is fine. Atmanirbhar oil seeds abhiyan. They are generalized statements you can see. And Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana for fisheries, etc. Aquaculture productivity. And when it comes to aquaculture, Andhra Pradesh is number one, right? Andhra Pradesh, specifically Vishakhapatnam, always comes number one position. 5 integrated aqua parks to be set up. Just go through where they are going to be set up. So blue revolution is related to marine resources, fisheries, etc. So blue revolution, and you can see in the last 1 year, it has increased from 2000 to 2352. And here you can see increase in allocation for formalization of micro food processing scheme. Okay, that has also increased. So and unemployment rate is decreasing. Till now, we have seen all the things are increasing, right? And here we have unemployment rate is decreasing. In 2017, it was 6.1, and now it has come down to 3.2. And also, current account deficit as a percentage of GDP, you can say in the past there has been an increase, right? There has been an increase, and in fiscal year 23, it has reached almost 2% and of GDP, okay, percentage of GDP, and now it is decreasing. It has again come down to 1%. So there has been an increase and again decrease. Current, the estimation is that it is decreasing. Current account deficit, okay, if it is low, it is good. And unemployment rate also, if it is low, it is good thing. So remember 3.2, and it is reducing from even before that it went as high as 7 plus, okay, and now it is on a decline. So declining gross non-performing asset. This is also very important from the banking point of view, and banking is the backbone of the economy, right? So you can observe here in fiscal year 18, it reached almost as high as 11.2, which is not at all a good thing. Okay, it was as low as 3.8, and I shouldn't cross 9% or yeah, I mean crossing 9% itself is a bad thing, but it went to as high as 11.2, and again it has started reducing. Now it is at a comfortable rate of 3.2%. Okay, NPA is non-performing asset when the interest or the principal amount has not been paid for 90 days or 3 months. Then the asset means any loan or anything which generates revenue for the bank. Okay, so when bank gives a loan, we pay the interest, right? So that is generating revenue for the bank. So it is an asset. So non-performing asset. Once the customer stops paying the interest or the principal for 3 months, then the asset becomes a non-performing asset. Okay, rising volume of digital transactions as with the success of UPI. We have seen phone pay, Paytm, etc. And you can say there is a huge increase, right? From as low as 2002, it has reached around 14,000. So GST collections, initially when it was introduced, it was around 50,000 what do you say? Just a minute. It was around 50, 1 lakh crore, like so 0.5 lakh. Okay, 0.5 lakh crore. Okay, slowly it has increased to 1 lakh crore, and during this period, what is the COVID period, etc., it had been hovering at 1 lakh crore, and today it has reached 1.7. Okay, 1.5 to 1.7. It is recently it was 1.6. So try to remember that one thing, there has been an increasing trend. It has started from around zero point 0.5. It was introduced in 2017, right? So from 2017, it has started from zero point 0.5 something, and now it has reached 1.5. So there has been a steady increase. And in fiscal year 2024, it is expected to be at 1.7. Basically, 1,70,000, what is a lakh crores every month. This is monthly, right? Monthly, yeah, every month. So every month they are getting 1.7 lakh crore. Remember that. It can be asked also. Okay. So inflation. So inflation has decreased, okay, and then increased, and again now there is a slight decrease. So during the COVID period, just before that, there has been a sharp decrease in the inflation. Okay, and there is a target of RBI to keep it below 4%, right? 4 or 6, it keeps fluctuating. But anyway, it was very high. Okay, in 2014, it has reduced, and now it has again crossed the threshold of 6%, and now it is coming back. And they are trying to bring it below comfortable 3% again. Okay, so try to remember that. Inflation is CPI, Consumer Price Index. So taxation reforms. Direct tax collections have tripled in the last 10 years. Fine. Number of all this is fine. You can't remember those things, but try to remember this. Okay. Average monthly gross GST is about 1.66 lakh crore. Just now we have seen 1.7, right? So on an average, it's about 1.6, 1.7. And the increase in tax buoyancy of states also, revenue is increasing. Reduction in logistic cost, okay, etc., etc. All that is fine. Faster refunds, and GST positive sentiment in the industry, people have approved, and import release time. So when you import something, it gets stuck at the customs duty, etc., right, for checking, etc. So that release time has increased. Now it is coming out of the customs very fast. That's what it's saying, and all this is fine. Okay, withdrawal of outstanding direct tax demand up to 25,000. All that is fine. No need to can't remember all those things. And the corporate tax, it was around 30%, right, for a significant period of time. So recently they have brought it down to 22%. Okay, remember this, 22% for existing domestic companies and 50%, 15% for new manufacturing companies. So if it is a new company, 15%. existing 22. It has reduced from 30%. Remember that also. And up to 7 lakh, there is no tax liability. So if your salary is below 7 lakh per annum, you need not pay tax. Remember that. So this is very important. Where rupee comes from, where rupee goes to. So try to spend some time and observe what it is. So you can see the biggest share we are getting is from borrowing and other liabilities, which is not exactly a very great thing. You need to reduce the amount of borrowing and etc. But 28% is coming from borrowings. Next, income tax. Okay, 19% is coming from income tax and 18% from GST. And corporation tax, we saw a 22% on company. So if a company is earning 1 crore, it will have to pay 22 lakhs as tax. So that tax will come up to 17%. So remember these three taxes, okay? Corporation tax 17, GST 18, income tax 19. 17, 18, 19. These are the main sources of our income of the government. And also, of course, borrowing and other liabilities. And the other things you can remember, minor things, excise duty 5 and customs 4, etc. Non-tax receipts 7% fine. But these are the major things you have to remember. Borrowings and other liabilities, highest figure 28%, and we are getting significant amount from GST, income tax, and corporation tax. So now where are we spending it? Okay, that is the revenue. Now what is the expenditure? So if you are bringing 28% borrowings, obviously significant amount will also go back in the form of interest payments, right? So if you're bringing loans, etc., you have to pay the interest. So again, the highest percentage is going away as interest payments only, and also state share of taxes and duties, 20%. Okay, if you look at the finance commission, around 41 or 42, it was 42, it has been reduced to 41%. 41% of the income will go to the share, I mean, it will go to the states. Okay, 40%, 41% of the collections. Out of that, if you look at the total, that is coming to around 20%. Okay, state share of taxes and duties is coming to around 20% of the whole amount. Interest payments and central sector schemes, that means completely funded by the government itself. Okay, central sponsored schemes means half, I mean 60 to 90% something by the government and other remaining percent by the state government. Those are centrally sponsored schemes. And observe this defense. Okay, defense is one big what you say one area where we give a lot of allocation 8% because the security of the nation is also very important. Okay, and you can see others are finance commission and other transfer this in the form of grants, etc. Okay, so try to remember this. What are the major expenditures? One thing is interest payments. Okay, because we are getting a lot of borrowings and state share is going away 20%. Central sector scheme 16, centrally sponsored 8%. Defense also 8%. So all these are important. Try to remember the figures also. If not prelims, if you go when you go to the mains examination in the economy paper, somewhere you will be able to draw this pie chart. Okay, a question out of all those questions, there will be at least one question where you will get an opportunity to draw this, and if you draw this, you will get good marks. So as I said, defense always gets the major share because national security is very important. Try to remember at least 3 or 4 allocations. When we go to Group 2 Economy Mains exam, you literally have to remember all these things because such questions will be asked, and there are people who will be able to answer that. So at least 5 to 6 of these you have to remember. This is the interim budget, so no need. Next, before going to the exam, when you get the full term budget, then you have to remember the allocation to specific ministries and also allocation to specific schemes also. Take the most important schemes, okay, couple of schemes, and also try to remember the allocation. So Minister of Defense 6.2, always it will be in that, I mean more than 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs like that, 7 lakh crore, okay, it is in lakh crore. And important thing is railways, okay. Railways also, yeah, before there was a separate budget for railways, right? Now it has been clubbed with the general budget. So anyway, railways is 2.55. Try to remember that. And road transport is 2.78. Consumer affairs, food and public distribution is also very important. Okay. So Ministry of Home Affairs, they are all getting the what you say top of the budget. I mean, they're getting above 2 lakh crores. So questions can be framed in any way. You can say, give a couple of what you say ministries and say which of these ministers are arranged in ascending order, descending order as per their allocations, or which of them get above 2 lakh crores. You never know. Okay. Try to remember. Defense gets 6.2. Okay. Ministry of Railways gets 2.55. Road Transport and Highway 2.78. Consumer Affairs 2.13. Home Affairs 2.0. Also, agriculture is also important, right? Agriculture is 1.27, and chemicals and fertilizers. If you look in the last budget, they have tried to reduce it drastically. Normally, a lot of subsidies goes for the fertilizers, etc. But right now they have reduced it. Okay, they are trying to reduce the subsidies over a period of time. So agriculture and farmers welfare 1.27 and etc. 2 point something. Try to remember all these things. Go through them multiple times and remember them. And allocation to major schemes, as I said, you have to remember what are the allocations to the major schemes also. So it has been for around 80,000 or so. It has been reduced to 60,000 in the last budget. Now again it has been increased. Now the opposition and all, if you look at the paper, they are saying that already this amount of 86,000 is already due. It has already reached. So this is also very less amount for Manrega, MGNREGS scheme. Okay, it's called Manrega, right? So 86,000 is also less, they are saying. But anyway, you can see that there has been an increase in from 60,000 to 86,000. Ayushman Bharat, okay, Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana is also one of the flagship scheme of the central government, and you can see the allocation has increased. So production linked incentive scheme. So if you are able to reach the targets of production, etc., then you get some incentives, some tax rebates, etc., to boost the production. Okay, that has also increased to 6,200. And what is this? Semiconductors? We can, if you are reading newspaper regularly, we are trying to become self-sufficient in semiconductors, etc., because a lot of it is being imported mostly from China also. So there is a lot of what you say uh, efforts to become self-sufficient in production of semiconductors, etc. So there has been an increase in budget allocation. Solar grid 8,500. As we have seen, we intend to become net zero by 2070, right? So we are taking steps towards that direction. It has almost doubled. Observe this. Solar power, yeah, from around 4,900 it became 8,500. So there has been a huge what is say increase in the budget allocation to solar energy. So remember that it has almost more than doubled. So that statement will come. You have to identify, and they may say it has almost more than doubled for wind energy, more than doubled for solar energy, or it has declined or something. So all those are wrong statements you have to identify. And national green hydrogen mission is also important. It has also more than doubled. So remember all these things which have doubled. Okay, national green hydrogen mission, solar power, and in the past also we've seen many things which have doubled, right? So go through this again and try to remember the trends also. Okay, these are also important. So budget estimates, and 30 lakh crore are the receipts, and the capital receipts will be 17.6 lakh crore. And so you're getting 30 lakh crore and you're expected to spend 36.5. So obviously there is going to be a deficit. That will be called the fiscal deficit, right? So expenditure is more than the income. Remember that 36.5 lakh crore. And when it comes revenue expenditure means all this payment of salaries, okay, payment of interest, etc., etc. So we need to reduce this as much as possible because it is not generating any assets. But capital expenditure, on the other hand, is a good thing because you are generating assets. Okay, fine. Okay, so that is a brief about the union budget, interim budget. Okay, when the final budget comes in a few months, we'll also look into that. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you very much.